Today we're here to talk about equal opportunity as everyone's responsibility. And there are countless daily challenges in life that drains us of energy and makes us react in ways that we dislike or regret. Being caught in traffic can make us go into a rage. Receiving a snide comment or being unappreciated can make us ruminate and sulk endlessly. Or receiving negative feedback can sometimes throw us into a downward spiral. We often react to these situations by creating walls around us that protect and defend ourselves. However, this only alienates us further and creates unfortunate, vicious cycles. What if, instead, we were able to reach out to others and increase our engagement in the world? We'd be able to overcome daily challenges in a totally new way. As people and organizations, we are working on investing in people and places for equal access. New reports, internet, publication, and research reports have shown how divided our spaces are in Arizona as well as across the world. Today is a short focus on how we might do better, how we might invest in people and places to support equal access to housing, employment, public accommodation, commercial facilities, transportation, and telecommunication. This is a discussion on how we might do better in supporting and investing in everyone's opportunity. We'll look at lessons learned by what we've already done. We'll look at intriguing opportunities and what obstacles are for getting there. We're hoping that this will be a lively conversation and it'll spark a passion within each of you to help make our communities a better place through action. Your home is not an island. It exists within a community with other homes around it and maybe even a district. And when you have that neighborhood, there might be good jobs around it, within commuting distance maybe, or not. The schools that your kids go to might encourage and challenge them and give them a good foundation for the rest of their lives, or not. The air that you breathe in your neighborhood might be good and clean, or not. You might have healthy and affordable food in your grocery store, or not. You might be able to walk down the street without fear of crime, or not. You might be able to walk down the street without fear of police, or not. Your political representatives might be a powerful force for your constituents' interests, or not. Where you live affects everything. Your opportunities economically, your health and safety, and your children's access to these things, and their children, and so on. It all depends on the place that you call home. Although we've made some progress, we remain a highly segregated society. In 1980, the average white person lived in a neighborhood that was 88% white. By 2010, that number had declined, but it was still very high at 77%. In 1980, the average black person's neighborhood was 48% black and 34% white. And averages by themselves don't always tell the story, but there are maps out there for most of our major cities illustrating how segregated our societies remain. They show concentrated poverty is increasing. People with disabilities also face segregation and often have a limited set of housing choice available to them, particularly housing that is both affordable and accessible. Segregation is not solely the result of self-selection, but rather the legacy of action and policies taken by federal, state, and local governments, as well as private individuals and institutions over many decades. It will take a different set of actions and policies to undo its effect, and this is where you can make a difference, because place matters and change is needed. Fair housing is at the core of every other civil right. When the Fair Housing Act was passed in 1968, it barred the outright racial discrimination that was then routine. It also required that government go one step further, which meant to actively dismantle segregation and to foster integration in its place. A mandate that for decades has largely been forgotten, neglected, or unenforced. AFFH, or Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing, because that's a mouthful in itself, so we call it AFFH, is a tool to help combat inequality. The AFFH rule will advance opportunity in America by shaping investments in housing, transportation, the environment, health, education, infrastructure, and economic development. Inclusion is necessary. Inclusive communities are those in which contributions are encouraged by all members. These communities promote diversity by welcoming the presence and acknowledging the value of every human being, regardless of national origin, religion, race, color, sex or gender, familial status or disability. Inclusive communities are important because all people have a contribution and all people have value. If a group of people is excluded, then there's something missing in that community, and that community hasn't fully developed. But AFFH by itself is not enough. We need your help. Your active participation will help our communities make progress towards the goals of active housing, opportunity, overcoming historic barriers of racial and other segregation. So now you may ask, how can I make a difference? Well, we're asking that you become barrier busters in your community. When people are involved in shaping their surroundings, the benefits can include building community, empowerment, sustainability, additional resources, and speedier development. People can gain a better understanding of the options realistic available to them and have a belonging within that community once they start to participate. You can become a barrier buster by getting involved, by voting, by going a hunt and finding out what the resources are in your community. You can make a difference. This means, though, that we need to address discrimination and topple the barriers that are in your community. Remember, right now where you live has a big impact on how your life unfolds. We all have a stake in making sure that each of us have a fair chance to flourish and prosper. For those who like a challenge, we challenge you. For those who are looking for a solution, we invite you. Become a barrier buster in your community.